Danny, the last time that we spoke, I had asked you if you ever had that odd man out feeling, with the three brothers and you. And you said, no, we all kind of get along. Now, after a lot of touring and the success of the band, does it ever become a little tender out on the road with the three brothers and you, or is it all for one and one for all?
You would think that potentially could actually get worse in that sense, but honestly, it's the fact that we all kind of went through this experience together, from a physical standpoint, yes, they share the same blood and I share a different bloodstream, but yeah, we were all traveling 100 miles an hour at the same time, going to all these places, experiencing all the culture and the shocks, at the same time. And it's something that you can kind of almost bond over, in a certain sense. So it's actually only grown to be more of a brotherhood.
That's cool.
Since we've last talked.
Arthos, Porthos, Aramis, and D'Artagnan.
Yeah, yeah. There you go.
I like it. Well, you guys are all, certainly wise beyond your years, and it shows in your music. Jake, I've only seen the band really on TV shows. I have yet to catch one of your live shows in person yet, because you guys came out and then you did the big festival circuit in the major markets, and we're stuck here in the mountains. But it's definitely on my bucket list moving forward. Forgive me if I'm off base, but the Gibson SG or the Les Paul SG, is that your primary instrument, or did you play other stuff on the album? And what do you like to play live? Does Fender ever come into the mix?
Yeah, so I mean that's sort of like my number one instrument that I kind of lean on in a way. I grew up playing a Gibson SG P90s in it. This is like a Pete Townsend reissue, I think. But so I kind of grew up with that. And the 1961 Les Paul, which has that SG body shape, kind of fell into my lap one day 3 years ago before we went out. It's a very expensive instrument, but a friend of ours at Chicago Music Exchange lended it to me to go on tour with it. And then as soon as I had enough money, I bought it. And so I've kind of always played that, and it's kind of defined my playing. So, but it's interesting because in the studio, not just in terms of guitars, because there's my guitars, there's producers' guitars, there's a studio guitar. So there's this sort of landscape of stringed instruments laying around to just, try different things. Yeah, exactly. And it's like the same thing with drums or keys or bass, there's all these different things laying around in the studio. So we actually wind up using a lot, especially in the Battle at Bryan's Gate. We've been able to do more experimentation than ever before previously. And in terms of like Fenders, I did use a Fender 1972 blonde Fender Telecaster on the Battle at Bryan's Gate for a lot of dubbing. And then the Barbarians, that song was a Fender Stratocaster.
Old.
Yeah, another old one. It was a Burst, and that was interesting. But yeah, and a lot of Fender amplifiers, which I got into tweeds and deluxes on this album, which I'd never really covered that ground before. But it's interesting. Yeah.
That's cool. And I think the regular SG is a fairly light guitar compared to a Les Paul. Is the Les Paul SG much heavier like a standard gold top Les Paul?
It's actually
even lighter. Yeah.
Oh, it is.
It's a very light instrument. It's lighter. It's lighter than most guitars, actually. Which is another reason why I prefer it. And it's got a very thin neck.
It allows you to do those up in the air things more.
Yeah, that's right. My Billy Gibbons.
Yeah. I would imagine you guys play a lot of practical jokes on each other, especially on the road. And I'm always looking for new ideas. What's the best one so far? And are there any rules about getting drunk on the bus?
Oh no. The only rule is you're not allowed to be sober on the bus. No,
that's marking the door. It's a precursor. Yeah, I don't know.
Man.
What about the first time we went to Sweden? You remember that?
Oh man, yeah, that was a great one.
The sun never set. The sun never set.
The sun never sets in Sweden, so we were naturally up all night, and the whole jet lag and the whole, so we were up all night, and our manager was over there with us, and we thought it would be our hotel rooms were right across the hallway from each other, and we thought it would be hilarious to take every single item in our hotel, like desks, chairs, couches, plants, and set it up like in the hallway right outside of this hotel room. So
We
and
blocked the whole hallway.
So and it was the end of the little run in Sweden. So we knew that he was going to be getting up and flying out at 4. He was getting up at 4 in the morning that day. So we stayed up and we set up shop right outside of his hotel room. And sure enough, we heard his alarm go off and we knew that he was waking up. And as soon as he walked out the door, we were all just sitting there in what had to have been the just weirdest experience ever for him.
That was amazing.
That was incredible.
Yeah, that or the. I mean, if we could count how many televisions we've destroyed in the tour buses, wow! I don't think we've ever been able to actually watch television.
And it's funny because it started out as an accident. You know, like it was never intentional. It's just things kind of get thrown around, and tour buses are really, they're massive, but they're tiny. You know, it's easy to just walk next to someone and knock the TV off the mount, and but.
Wow. And that is the threshold of what we can tell you in politically speaking.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to know any of those lurid stories. One last question for you. You've broken a lot of barriers in your career, obviously, but tell me about your biggest career highlight to date, if you can think of one that was just like a surreal, like
performing with Sir Elton John was. It's hard to beat that for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think that there's these little flashes of memory that sort of, permanently live in my mind somewhere. But it's always like when we're performing and you close your eyes and then you sort of disappear. And then you come back down and you're opening your eyes and you're standing in Quebec and you're playing to an audience of like 300,000 people in the rain. I mean, that's type of thing to me you kind of realize in those moments that you're standing somewhere where not many men have stood before and you're sort of meant to be in one moment at one time. And that it's just those are the surreal kind of moments to me.
Very cool. Well, congratulations on everything. Again, fingers crossed that 2021, we'll see you guys back out on the road and out here on the West Coast. Jake and Danny, please tell Josh and Sam that we said hi from Reno and would love to see you play here in our neck of the woods sooner than later, man. And stay safe. Take care of each other. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll give them your best.
All
right. Congratulations on the new release. Can't wait to get way deep into it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.